June 1942. 6 months after the disaster at Pearl Harbor, the Japanese Empire stood at the height of its power in the Pacific. Their fleets had swept through the Philippines, Indochina, and Indonesia, and were now approaching America's last line of defense, a tiny island in the middle of the ocean, Midway. Admiral Yamamoto Isoroku, the mastermind behind Pearl Harbor, devised a final, decisive blow. Midway would be the bait. He planned to lure the U.S. Pacific Fleet out of its base and annihilate its aircraft carriers, the core force threatening Japan's expansion. With 4 main carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, supported by dozens of warships and over 200 aircraft, Yamamoto believed that victory was all but guaranteed. But the Americans had an invaluable advantage: intelligence. Thanks to their success in breaking much of the Japanese Navy's code, the U.S. knew Midway was the target. Admiral Chester Nimitz devised a counter-strategy. He secretly positioned 3 carriers, Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown, in an ambush near the island. The coming battle would not be chance. It would be a deadly chess match. On the early morning of June 4th, Japanese aircraft began bombing Midway. But at the same time, American planes from the island and the carriers launched a fierce counterattack. Initially, the U.S. attack suffered heavy losses. Torpedo squadrons were wiped out by Japanese fighters and anti-aircraft fire, but their sacrifice paved the way for a decisive counterstrike. 3:20 a.m., 3 squadrons of American dive bombers, after a navigational error, stumbled upon the Japanese carriers just as they were refueling and rearming their planes. In less than 6 minutes, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu were hit and engulfed in flames. Japan lost 3 of its frontline carriers in the blink of an eye. Hiryu counterattacked and managed to sink Yorktown, but by the end of the day, Hiryu too was destroyed. The Battle of Midway ended in a decisive American victory. Japan lost 4 aircraft carriers, over 300 aircraft, and many of its most experienced pilots. In contrast, the U.S. lost only 1 carrier and far fewer aircraft.